They are business leaders, experts in economy, society, and culture. In 15 minutes, their insights will create a vivid picture of Vietnam. Sharing Vietnam, the country as you see it.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sharing Vietnam of NetVid channel VTC10. I'm your host John Chun. 2010 was a successful year for tourism in Vietnam, propelling it onto the international stage with nearly 5 million tourists. This year shows even more promise. The total number of international arrivals in the first 7 months of 2011 reached 3.5 million people, representing a 17.3% increase over the same period last year. With more and more tourists arriving in Vietnam, the battle for customers are heating up in the hospitality industry, particularly among the hotels. Here with us today to discuss what distinguishes Movenpick as the best selection for tourists in Vietnam is Mr. Knut Kiefer, General Manager of Movenpick Hotels and Resorts in Vietnam. Mr. Kiefer, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
He is a very friendly manager. He manages 2 prestigious 5-star hotels in Vietnam. He is Knut Kiefer, Country General Manager of Movenpick Hotels and Resorts, Vietnam.
So Mr. Kiefer, I understand that you've been in Vietnam for a while. Can you recall your first day in Vietnam?
Well, to be honest, when I came to Vietnam, it's more than 3 years ago.
Oh, I see.
And I didn't know what to expect, to be entirely honest. I've been in Asia for over 20 years. I've been to several countries. I worked in China, I worked in Malaysia, Thailand, and I was in the Philippines just before I came to Vietnam. So when I was offered the position to come to Vietnam, I always wanted to come to Vietnam and experience the culture, but I really didn't know a lot about Vietnam. So when we arrived here first, me and my wife, I remember the first day when we came, it was very, very late in the evening, and we didn't really see a lot of the city. And the next day when we woke up, the first thing we did, we wanted to walk around and really get an impression of the country. And we were very pleasantly surprised because Hanoi is such a beautiful little city. You know, it has a lot of well-preserved old historic buildings, and so we felt very welcome right from the beginning when we arrived here.
And I can imagine a lot has changed in those 3 years. Can you pick out any things that stuck out to you?
Well, to be honest, when you come to work in a country, it's a little bit different than when you just visit it. I mean, I've been here, as I said, more than 3.5 years, 2 of which I've been in Hanoi, and the first year was very challenging for us because we took over a hotel, we completely renovated the place, we rebranded it, we opened it, it was very challenging to do this in a new country for me. After 2 years I moved to Ho Chi Minh City, and I basically repeated what we have done up in Hanoi. Again, we renovated the hotel, we reopened it and re-established it. So for me those were 3 very, very exciting years. I learned a lot. I learned a lot professionally, I learned a lot in terms of people and culture. So I would say within my career or even within my life, these are some of the most fulfilling years I had.
I see, that's great. And so working in the hospitality industry, I believe it takes a right combination of personality and mindset. Could you describe what has made you so successful?
I don't know how you actually judge success in this industry. I mean, my success always pretty much depends on the people around me.
I see.
I cannot run a hotel. I basically depend on my team to support me and my team to to follow the vision we have as a company, not myself so much as Movenpick as a company. And I believe what makes me, let's say, successful is the people I work with. I hire the right people, and they help me to succeed as a whole.
And so your role as general manager, what's your primary job?
Pretty much comes back to what I just said. My primary job is hire the right people, hire the best people I can find with the right attitude. Once you have this in place, my job becomes so much easier because the people actually, my team members, they take care of the customer. You know, it's not me. I spend too much time in the office, which I actually wouldn't want to because it's not really my business. My business is hospitality that has to do with people. And for me, the key is to hire the right people because they ultimately make the hotel successful.
Movenpick Hotels and Resorts is an upscale international Swiss hotel chain. Currently pursuing an aggressive expansion plan, the company has brought its brand to Vietnam. Movenpick in Hanoi and Movenpick in Ho Chi Minh City.
So, Mr. Kiefer, Movenpick Hotels and Resort is an upscale company managed under a strong brand. Its core markets are spread through Europe, Africa, Middle East, and Asia. I want to ask you, where does Asia in general, and Vietnam in particular, fit into the business plan?
Well, for us as a company, our focus, being a European company by origin, was originally Europe, and then the company developed further into the Middle East.
I see.
We believe that it's important for a hotel company to always grow in clusters. You don't want to just open one hotel in a continent and leave it there idle for many years because it will not grow the brand. So in the Middle East, we have been very, very successful for many, many years. And it was time for us to say, so where do we want to go next? And naturally, Asia was the number one priority for us because this is the area where the most growth in the industry or in general is happening. We always wanted to be in Asia. And when the opportunity presented itself to manage a few hotels, we were very excited because it basically was the start for our Asia expansion. Vietnam actually was the second destination in Asia which we looked at.
I see.
The first one was Thailand. Vietnam was especially interesting for us because it's a new destination. You see, Thailand, for example, is a very mature tourism destination. So Vietnam is much more pure. Yeah, it's an emerging market. And I said, it's a great timing for us to come at this time into Vietnam and start building the tourism industry in the country. It's always more challenging, but it's also more rewarding to go in a country where not everybody is yet set to operate. So for us, it was a great opportunity, and we are very happy to be here.
As tourism in Vietnam continues to surge, we talked about, it's up and coming. What are some of the things that you've done or projects you implemented to facilitate repeat businesses, expansion, and raise the bar of quality of hospitality in Vietnam?
I believe the most important factor for any hospitality company that wants to build repeat business is to leave a lasting impression to your customer.
I see.
Once a guest comes to your door, you basically have a great opportunity to turn this customer into a repeat guest. This is true not only for hotels, it is true for airlines and similar businesses. And the key is always to take care of your customer. I firmly believe a lot of hotels have guest rooms, they have restaurants, and they're all of similar quality, let's be honest. The difference will always be the people that deal with you, the staff. And that's where we are very particular in our hiring process. I purely hire people based on attitude and personality because that's what really sets us apart. I would say, yes, we have great hotel rooms, we have great restaurant, we have good food, but other hotels have that too, to be honest.
So customer service is what.
That's what.
And actually did a little research and saw that on TripAdvisor you try to comment or give feedback on each of the.
Absolutely.
That's really great.
I believe this is it's my duty because if guests take the time to write a review of our hotel. first of all, it helps me a lot in my work because I get the feedback from the customer who has experienced the services. I walk through my hotel every day, but it's a different story to actually hear it from the customer. And I think it's not just a courtesy for me, it's just part of what I feel I need to do to thank the customers to take the time and actually write about us.
And so with Movenpick, they actually, you guys engage in other social projects as well. Could you share with us some of the programs that you do for the community?
Well, you see, for us as a company, not just the hotels here in Vietnam, we feel it's our social responsibility to engage ourselves in the community. It's not something we do because we feel like we must. It's something we really feel like we want to, because we operate in these countries and it's just something we appreciate very much. We have done several things. We work, for example, with Koto, which is an organization here in Vietnam that trains disadvantaged children in hospitality skills. And it's not just something where we feel like it's an advantage for the children. Actually, it's a great advantage to us because we get from this special school, we get very, very motivated students who are very, very humble and very, very willing to learn. And we have built a very strong commitment to Koto over the years. We also have done we do actually every year, we do a charity golf tournament for several, for different charity organizations in the country, which usually change every year because we don't want to focus just on one organization, because there's a lot of deserving organizations in the country.
First held in 2009, Movenpick Golf Tournament continues to grow in prestige and quality. Contributing to the development and supporting the charitable activities of the Movenpick in Vietnam.
So, Mr. Kiefer, how did Movenpick come up with the idea of hosting a golf tournament?
Well, you see, I play golf, so it was a natural thing for me to come up with a golf tournament. I'm not such a good tennis player, so I thought, I would look better on the golf course than I would on a tennis court.
Well, what's your handicap, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, at the moment, it's about 16, so, but it goes up and down, like what it does in golf. No, to be honest, golf for me it's not a sport. It's a social game, and that's how I see it. For me, it's an opportunity to meet new people, to get people together of all age groups. You see, this is the advantage of golf towards a lot of other sports, where it is not as broad as golf does in this regard. So it was a great opportunity for me to put an event that I personally like to be engaged with, together with our supporters from our corporate accounts. Because, a lot of people play golf nowadays. A lot of Vietnamese people play golf as well, and they're very interested in events like this. So we bring people together for a charitable event. So, people have fun, they get to know new people, new friends, and it's for a good cause. So I only see positives for it. That's why.
And how successful have you guys been?
The first year, I think, was very successful, and we build on this. We have now done 3 tournaments, 2 in Hanoi and 1 in Ho Chi Minh City, and every year the number of participants grows.
Increases.
The first year we had around 100 people. Second year we had around 120, and golf tournament is basically fully booked at 144 people, and this year we were fully booked already 3 weeks before the tournament. So we are very happy about this.
Great success. And so what are some of the long-term objectives and plans of Movenpick in Vietnam?
For us, we want to obviously expand where we are. It's important not just economically, it's important as a brand. We were very successful for the first 2.5, 3 years since we operate here to get people to understand and know the brand. It is not easy to come into a country where the brand is not known at all, especially with a name that's very hard to pronounce.
Like I've seen
Absolutely.
Today.
So for us, it's important that we add a few more hotels, but we are very selective. We have been approached by a number of developers who like our brand because we are unique. But we want to really we want to pick resorts and destinations that really work for our brand. And you will see within the next 2 years, you will see a couple of additional hotels here in Vietnam.
And any diversifying into other parts of real estate, villas or resorts or anything like that?
It will definitely be more into resorts because you see, we have covered the two main cities in Vietnam already. So the next developments will more than likely be a beach resort destination, which we as a company are very well known for. We have a lot of destinations around the world which are beach resorts.
Your experience in Vietnam, similar experiences, is this something that you want to come back to over and over?
First of all, I'm still here, so obviously I enjoy being here. It's something very different to a lot of destinations I've been previously. I like Vietnam because it is how would I say, it's a very natural environment. It's not artificial. You know, the culture is still very true to itself.
Very cultural.
Absolutely. And this is something I enjoy, especially coming originally from a very different culture. Even though I'm 20 years in Asia, you don't really lose your cultural aspects. But for me, the Vietnamese people and hospitality that I have experienced ever since I'm here is just outstanding. And it's just not just for work, but just to live here makes it a pleasure.
Well, that's great. Actually, that's all the time we have today. So thank you very much for joining us and best of luck.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you very much. And that concludes our show for today. Thank you for watching Sharing Vietnam. From all of us from NetVid, channel VTC10, I'm John Chun. Live for today, and we'll see you tomorrow.